Once a miller had a daughter. As she reached marrying age, he hoped for a good match. If a suitable suitor appears, he thought, I'll consent to the marriage. Soon, a wealthy suitor arrived, and the miller, deeming him suitable, accepted the proposal. However, the daughter felt uneasy around him, sensing something amiss. Once, the suitor remarked, "You've never visited me, despite our engagement." The girl responded, "I'm not familiar with the way to your house." The bridegroom replied, "My house is located deep in the dark woods." Seeking an excuse, she claimed she wouldn't be able to navigate the path. The bridegroom insisted, "You must come next Sunday. I've invited guests. I'll mark a trail with ashes to guide you through the woods." When Sunday arrived, the girl felt a sense of unease as she prepared to journey to the groom's house, though she couldn't pinpoint why. To mark her path, she filled her pockets with peas and lentils. Following the trail of ashes at the forest's entrance, she scattered peas to her sides as she walked. As the day wore on, she reached the heart of the woods, where darkness prevailed, and spotted a solitary, foreboding house. Reluctantly, she entered, finding it eerily quiet and deserted. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the silence.
Turn back, you young bride. You are in a murderer's house."
Then the beautiful bride went from one room to another, walking through the whole house, but it was entirely empty, and not a human soul was to be found. Finally, she came to the cellar. A very old woman was sitting there, shaking her head.
"Could you please tell me if my bridegroom lives here?"
"Oh, you poor child," replied the old woman. "Where did you come from? You are in a murderer's den. You think you are a bride soon to be married, but it is death that you will be marrying. Look, they made me put a large kettle of water on the fire. When they have captured you, they will chop you to pieces without mercy, cook you and eat you, for they are cannibals." With this, the old woman led her behind a large barrel where she could not be seen. "Be quiet as a mouse," she said. "Do not make a sound or move, or all will be over with you. Tonight, when the robbers are asleep, we will escape. I have long waited for an opportunity." This soon transpired when the heartless group of men returned home, dragging a poor girl with them. Drunken and heedless of her cries, they forced wine upon her, 3 glasses of different hues, white, red, and yellow, causing her heart to break. They then stripped her, laid her on a table, dismembered her, and sprinkled salt over her remains. The terrified bride, hidden behind a barrel, trembled as she witnessed the gruesome fate intended for her. One of the robbers noticed a gold ring on the murdered girl's finger. Struggling to remove it, he resorted to using an axe, but as he struck, the finger flew into the air, landing in the bride's lap. Despite the robber's efforts to retrieve it, the ring remained elusive, lost in the darkness. But another robber suggested, "Did you check behind the big barrel?" The old woman cuts his words. "Come, eat first. You can resume your search in the morning. That finger isn't going anywhere." Conceding to the old woman's wisdom, the robbers abandoned their hunt and settled down to eat. Meanwhile, the old woman spiked their wine with a sleeping potion, causing them to quickly succumb to slumber, snoring loudly in the cellar. Hearing their snores, the bride cautiously emerged from behind the barrel, tiptoeing over the sleeping figures sleeping on the ground, as she managed to pass without disturbing any of them. Guided by the sprouting peas and lentils she had scattered earlier on, her way to the murderer's house, now illuminated by the moonlight, the bride and the old woman hurried out of the den of murderers. On the wedding day, the bridegroom arrived with a smile on his face, and the miller had gathered all his relatives and acquaintances for the celebration. As they sat around the table, each guest was prompted to share something. The bride, however, remained silent. Encouraged by the groom, she finally spoke. Then I will tell about a dream. I was walking alone through the woods when finally I came to a house. Inside there was not a single human soul, but I hear a voice call out to me. Turn back, turn back, you young bride. You are in a murderer's house. As the bride soon proceeds to tell the whole encounter to the guests in her wedding, with each moment becoming more and more gruesome, the young bride finally pulled out a decapitated finger with a ring on it and showed it to everyone and confronted the bridegroom. Hearing these words, the robber idiotically tried to escape, but the guests held him down and turned him over to the courts. Then the bridegroom and his whole group of cannibalists were executed for their crimes.